Well, hello again. It's Aaron Schatz, Editor-in-Chief of ASE Publishing, and today we're going to do the actual review for the Logitech G700s. This is review ID 52778. You can check out this and all our reviews by going to www.aselabs.com. While you're there, hit that subscribe button on those RSS feeds. Also, you are watching this on YouTube right now. I'm going to point to these corners right here. There'll be a subscribe button somewhere. This one or this one, I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter. However, you should hit that. You'll be informed of all our video content. Here we go. Let's get into the review. If you haven't seen the unboxing, it's right here. There's going to be probably a box somewhere in this vicinity right here. So hit it. You'll see the unboxing. However, you basically get the mouse, a receiver, a charging cable, and an extension cable, which I don't have on this table, but you get that too. And some literature, and here's the box. Move that over, and we'll continue on. One thing to note, this is a special receiver. So unlike a lot of Logitech products that you may have that are wireless, for instance, like they have keyboards and mice, I don't know why you would plug two mice into a computer, but whatever. You can actually have one receiver to operate all of them. This, since it's a gaming mouse and it has a very, very fast pull rate of 1000 hertz, which is a kilohertz, it has a very unique receiver that has to be used with the mouse. This is not a unifying receiver. This is specifically made for the G700s. You can only use it with the G700s. You cannot use your unifying receivers. So make sure that you have the receiver, otherwise this mouse is not going to work. Unless you actually plug this thing in and it'll actually work over the cable itself with data. Another thing to note about the receiver, it's not going to give you a very, very large range of wireless coverage. So this is why they actually give you an extension cable to actually bring the receiver a little closer to the mouse if you're having problems. However, I have mine plugged into the computer. I have not noticed any problems. If you are plugging this into, let's say, a computer that's buried in the wall somewhere, I don't know what you're doing, or you have a sofa computer and the computer is way, feet and feet in front of you and you're controlling it by your couch, you might have a problem. The extension may help, so that's why they bundle it with that. Now, that being said, this is a gaming mouse. Generally, you're probably going to be putting this near your gaming computer, so I don't foresee a problem with that at all. However, they do give you the extension cable, so you can actually extend this closer to the mouse. Now for the star of the show, the G700s itself. What can I say about the G700s? Well, I've been using this for, 4 weeks, 5 weeks already, and honestly, it's one of the best mice I've ever used, bar none. And of course, I might be biased because I like Logitech products, and like I mentioned in the unboxing, I actually purchased this myself, so it's not like this is a freebie. This is coming from someone who actually purchased the product. Let me go into why I think this is a really, really great mouse. Obviously, one of the benefits is it's wireless, but not only is it wireless, you can actually plug the mouse in, and it's still technically wireless, but it's charging up while it's plugged in. The older Logitech mice that I had that were actually rechargeable, you had to swap batteries. So let's say you're in, combat or something in a game, and all of a sudden your mouse dies, just straight up dies. Now you have to take out, put this battery, take the other one out, put the battery in, fumble around. You don't need that. When this thing starts telling you, okay, I'm getting low on batteries, you just plug in the cable and you continue to go on your merry way, and that's it. While I'm talking about the cable, this is one thing that I thought Logitech made a mistake on. The cable is great. Don't get me wrong, this cable is great. It's got pretty good length. I would like an even longer cable just because. The one thing I don't understand why they did is they have a rubber cable. And if this is supposed to be plugged into the mouse, like so, if you plug this thing into here, and you're like, okay, it's a regular wired mouse right now. However, because this is rubber, it actually catches on a lot of surfaces. I don't know why they didn't include a braided cable with, some type of other material that would actually slide a little bit better. That's the one caveat I have with this cable. Otherwise, it's great. But I just don't understand. It seems like an oversight that they wouldn't have a braided cable to actually slide on surfaces. That being said, you have to understand that you're not going to be using this cable that much. I actually found that I had about 2 or 3 days of battery life depending on how I actually use this. So for instance, when I went to games and I really just started hammering on the actual performance and stuff, then my battery life dropped to about 2 days or so. When I was just doing general work and stuff, it was 3 days. It was really great. you just basically plug this thing in when you're not using it, and then it just charges it up. I just kept forgetting to plug it in at the end of the day, which doesn't matter because, like I said, if you run out of battery power, you can plug this in and still have a very usable mouse. The other thing that I really like about this, so if you open up the actual battery compartment, they give you an Eneloop battery. This is a nickel metal hydrate battery and a very high quality battery. Also, you actually can store the receiver right in this compartment. So if you're taking this on the go, like a LAN party, if they still have them around, I think they still have them around. You basically just take your receiver out, plug it in, turn on the mouse, good to go. This mouse is a laser mouse, which may sound like it's all great and everything. However, some companies that make laser mice aren't the best quality. Logitech's great quality, so you don't have to worry about the tracking in this. Works every surface that I've tried. A lot of times, you're actually going to get better performance on an LED mouse than a laser mouse. However, this one's really good, so you don't have to worry about the tracking on this. This is a great gaming mouse if you like to play things that have tons of different buttons and stuff. There are 13 buttons on this, and I'll tell you all of them right now. So you have 1, 2, the regular mouse buttons. 3 is the center click right here on the scroll wheel. 4 and 5 is the moving the left and the right of the actual scroll wheel itself. So if you move left, move right, that's 4 and 5. 6 is the forward and back buttons. 6 and 7 forward back buttons. 8 and 9 are these two buttons here. So there's 4 buttons in this thumb area. They could have actually included like 400 buttons and it wouldn't matter because you got enough space for your thumb. I don't even remember what number I'm on, but let's just say, what did I say? So there's so many buttons. But anyway, here's another button here. This is a programmable button. This right here is not a button. It actually controls this scroll wheel to actually click, to have singular scroll or a very fast scroll. I actually leave it on very fast unless I'm in a game, and then you need this precision. That's what it's for. Then you have these 3 buttons right here. And all of them serve a specific purpose when you're using this. If you're using the Logitech software, you can remap all this. However, since I'm using this on Linux, I'm really stuck with whatever their built-in stuff is doing. That being said, they all operate as a button. So I can actually go in and reprogram them if I like in actual X input and stuff like that. So I don't have to worry about like this if I really wanted to remap it. However, I don't care that much. The only thing I really need is to make sure the back and forward and the scroll and stuff works, and they work fine right out of the box. There you go. When you actually take this out of the box, and let's just say you're not using software because, let's face it, I don't like software either. And I'm using this on Linux. And until Logitech really starts supporting Linux, there's really not going to be that much software that you can use to actually remap the buttons. If you actually want to do this in Linux, you can actually use things like X input. You can go and change your configuration files to actually say, oh, when this button's hit, do this instead. So yes, however, it's more of a manual process. And it would be really nice if Logitech started to include software for Linux because, let's face it, Steam is Linux, and a lot of people are starting to use Steam. It would be nice to have supported right out of the box on Linux. It is supported. It would just be nice if Logitech included their software for it so you can actually remap the buttons and do all the macros and stuff. Let's go into how this actually works right out of the box. Right out of the box, you have, this is the profile changer. So if you click this, it'll actually light the, let me see if I can show you. So right now you can see that the 3 green LEDs on right here are saying the battery power. It's full battery, great. If I click this G11 button on the top right here, it'll, if you see, let me see if I'll zoom in on this for you so you can actually see. Zoom in on my face, coming in. So if you see this, these 3 LEDs right here, and if you see I'm hitting it, it's actually changing the actual profile. I actually use the regular profile, which I think is this one right here, because it works for all the stuff that I really wanted to. By default, these 2 buttons up here will control the DPI settings, the speed of the mouse, and I usually leave it on 2 red, but you can go all the way up to like so fast that I don't even know how people use the computer. So that's how you do it. You can get really slow or really fast just by clicking these buttons right here. This button shows you the actual battery usage. So if you hit this GA button right here, it'll actually show you the actual battery usage and how far you are. If you're actually getting really close, like it's telling you, okay, it's time to plug this in, the bottom one will actually show red instead of all green, obviously. Well, it's not obvious, but there you go. It'll show red. The forward and back work. And these basically do nothing on the default profile, but they actually show up as buttons. So if you actually wanted to, you can actually reprogram them in whatever software you have. Also, if you're in a game, since these act as actual buttons and they actually show up as button presses, you can remap them in a game as well. So there's that. And like I said, scroll wheel works just fine. The mouse buttons, the middle click, the left and the right scroll jogging stuff works well as well. So yeah, this mouse works pretty well right out of the box with everything. Now when you actually check and then click this for the other profiles, they were all doing some really weird stuff, and I'm sure that you need the Logitech software to really unlock the true potential of having macros and stuff for it. But again, I just needed the mouse to be able to use a mouse and have, you know, basic computing tasks and the gaming that I generally do, which is like StarCraft 2 and some other stuff. And I'm going to start getting back into first-person shooters when the new Unreal Tournament comes out, hopefully soon, because that's an awesome game. But yeah, for those purposes, it works fine. Now, if you're in like gaming and like doing, you know, massive online RPGs and stuff, and you need like 20,000 buttons, and you want like button 11 to do X, Y, A, Z, and then B, and you want it to move forward, and like 3 seconds later do this, you're going to need the Logitech software, or you're going to need to do some manual work if the Logitech software is not supported. But if the Logitech software works on your platform, that's the stuff that this thing can do. Logitech software is really powerful. However, if you don't have it, you're going to have to start doing stuff manually. It's possible, it's more of a pain in the ass, whatever. All my reviews on input devices, I always say they're subjective. So if you can go to a store and actually hold this in your hand and, you know, feel it, you got to understand something about mice. You got to hold them, you got to try them out for a little bit, because you might say, oh my god, this sucks, or oh my god, this is the greatest mouse ever. You're not going to know until you try it. It's not like you can listen to me and saying, I really like this mouse, the best mouse I ever had, it's great. My opinion is not going to be the same as your opinion, and that's the problem with input devices. I can only tell you how I feel about them. The weight of the G700s is good. It's not too heavy, it's not too light, it's really just in the middle. You know, just like porridge, you don't want it too hot or too cold, you want it just right. And to me, that's what this is. Now, some of you will actually find this to be a little too heavy. Some of you will actually find it to be too light. This all goes to the subjective nature of the actual input device. And that's why I'm saying you really need to try this. At least go to a store if you can hold it in your hand and then really feel it. For me, my hand size is perfect. A lot of people will actually grip their mice in different ways. For instance, I'll put my whole hand on the mouse. A lot of people actually do something like this. They'll actually claw the mouse instead. Now, I don't know why you would do that, because now you're getting a lot less surface area and a lot less grip on the mouse. However, when I was trying that, even though it was really awkward, it worked just fine. So either way, I think you'll be fine using the mouse if you like the actual contouring of it. If you're left-handed, do not get the mouse. This doesn't look good, does it? It's not going to perform well. You're going to get an ambidextrous mouse or a left-handed mouse. I don't even know if they have them. If not, any company out there, you can conquer the left-handed market if you're offering a left-handed mouse for left-handed gamers. They would love that. To sum everything up, let me just say that I bought this mouse, I'm happy with my purchase, and really that's all you can actually hope for when you purchase something. You, on the other hand, mice are subjective. You're going to really have to try it out. However, if you like Logitech products already, this is a no-brainer. I mean, this is great. Works great. Long battery life. You plug it in when you need to. The batteries charge internally in the mouse. I mean, you can't go wrong with stuff like that. They make other mice that are wired and stuff. However, I like a wireless mouse. If you do, there you go. This mouse retails for about $50 or $60 right now. If you can go to a store and actually put this in your hand, and if you like it, it's a no-brainer. Buy it. If you already have a gaming mouse and you like it, it's up to you. But seriously, if you're looking for a new gaming mouse, this is a really, really good looking mouse. Really feels good in the hand. And again, they're subjective. However, if Logitech is a company that you like, this to me is a no-brainer. Let me just mention again that I actually purchased this product. And because I purchased it with my own money and I'm happy with it, it just shows you the quality of the products that Logitech makes. Very rarely have I actually had a bad product with Logitech, and in fact, I can't even think of any off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's one in the past that I've reviewed. Who knows, I'll have to go into the archives. However, I can tell you that their gaming stuff is quality. You're not going to go wrong purchasing a Logitech product. For ASE Labs and ASE Publishing, I'm Aaron Schatz. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to subscribe to our RSS feeds on ASE Labs, and you're watching this on YouTube or embedded in some random web page. There's a subscribe button somewhere. One of these corners have it. It's either this one or this one. You should hit it. You'll be informed of all our video content. Also, if you're on YouTube right now, hit that comment button. I don't even know if it's a comment button or just a reply button or something that says post a comment. You should do that though and leave me some feedback. Love to hear from you. We've got more reviews coming out this week and pretty much across the spectrum of stuff now. I know that there's a lot of reviews coming out for input devices, like another controllers coming out and stuff. Stay tuned for those coming up soon. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you in the next one.